that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's the founder of the Plandivity Doers, making social media simple, strategic, and sustainable. None other than Miss Samantha Markey.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So sweet. I'm Samantha, founder of the Plan to Be Doers. I work primarily with women entrepreneurs who feel a lot of pressure around showing up online and marketing their business. And I help get rid of the lack of ideas and that feeling of being alone and help to simplify the process. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, simplify the process, and we love that, Miss Samantha. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because marketing is the hardest thing to do in everything. So let's talk about the invisible mental load of marketing and solopreneur. You've spoken about tension between speaking approval and remaining authentic. For a solopreneur, who does the mental load and marketing become heavier? The fear of being judged, the exhaustion of constantly performing.
Yeah, so the I believe that we put most of the pressure on ourselves, but the expectation to do all of the things, right? So be in all the places on social media, to do all of the offline marketing and the networking and be everywhere can be a full-time job all by itself. And I think when we're solopreneurs, we feel that immense pressure to do all of those things instead of just figuring out what's going to work best for your audience and who you're trying to attract. And then we burn out and sometimes just stop marketing altogether. And that's where businesses tend to fail, which is really frustrating, I think, for me as a marketer, because I see it all the time. You're just getting inundated with all these things that you should be doing.
Indeed. And thank you for being there, Miss Samantha. If the exhaustion of marketing never makes it onto a spreadsheet, where does it actually live? In sleepless nights, or in a shortened patience with loved ones, or in the dread of opening social media?
Mm. If I understand the question right, you're asking like you once you've got your plan in place, where does the
Hmm.
stress come from?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so even with a plan in place and you've got a spreadsheet, so to speak, like I have a spreadsheet, you still need to have a system to execute it. And so the overwhelm and the need to get it all done doesn't just go away when you have it organized. You still need a system to outline that. Otherwise, that social pressure still just comes in and you don't have a way to thank people for their input when they're like, "You should be doing this and you should be doing that. And have you considered this marketing or this sales technique?" Whether it's from friends, family, or people you're networking with, you could have a plan, but it can still get influenced if you don't have a system to execute.
Certainly, yeah. And you've described the liberating power of authenticity. But
Mhm.
is authenticity liberating, or does it actually require more mental energy to stay vulnerable and real than it does hide behind a polished brand?
That is an excellent question because when you first started, I was like, of course, it's easier to be yourself. Just be who you are. And I think a lot of people think authenticity is just that. But like you said, there's a piece of vulnerability to show up as who you really are and say the things you're really thinking and respond the way you really want to respond. There's a fear of being judged, a fear of being misunderstood,
Mhm.
and that over analyzing of that, especially in our marketing. I get asked all the time, should I have a personal Facebook page and a professional Facebook page? And I feel like if well, you should have a business Facebook page, yes, but if you're connecting with people that you're networking with on a Facebook page, like a profile, um, I believe that if you are showing up authentically and you feel comfortable with that, you don't have any other like family reasons not to, then sharing your personal Facebook page makes the most sense to me. And I live that through all of my social media. I show up that way in all of my marketing and I teach it that way. But yeah, when you ask it in that regard, is it hard to sometimes go, yeah, this is what I believe and this is how I show up and not have a fear of being judged? It definitely weighs on people.
Beautifully articulated, Miss Samantha. The phrase invisible mental load suggests labor that no one sees. Who in the solopreneur's life, if anyone truly understands the weight of what it takes to market yourself while also being one of those or one does the work?
Yeah. You know, that's a really good question too. I think that's why it's important to build a community and really pay attention to who you allow in your circle. Being a part of a community like my Plan to Be Doers community, where you can show up with other solopreneurs, either in person or virtually, who get it, right? Because I have a very amazing support circle at home. My husband is very supportive and he is intuitive with business and he's fantastic, but when it comes down to the actual load of what's on me and the weight and the stress, I find the circle of solopreneurs that I have built around me is more understanding on some topics that I can't honestly expect him to understand, right? So,
Mhm.
I do think that community of people who are in the same boat really, really helps a lot.
So, Ms. Samantha, let's talk about on the authenticity paradox. You've
Mhm.
discussed navigating customer service mindsets and the transformative nature of social media. How do you market yourself without feeling like you're constantly in customer service mode, smiling, solving, or serving, even when you have nothing left to give?
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, Daniel, but I grew up in my career in the hospitality industry. And so I
Mhm.
have this really unique, almost it's part of my nature now to smile. I don't even know that I am, but I pretty much always am. I ran
Mhm.
hotels for almost 30 years, and that customer service piece has just been trained into me so much that it just really comes naturally. But I think for those of us who haven't had that life experience where that customer service piece of it is just innate in you, it really takes some ownership of your own energy, right? And understanding what it takes to build your energy up and planning your schedule accordingly. Like if you know that you cannot be on all the time, you can't be on for 8 hours, making sure you don't schedule, customer client facing things and then networking and then more networking back to back to back. It really does take a little bit of knowing who you are. Me, I can basically turn it on and stay on because it doesn't ever really shut off. Um, but that took 30 years of practice.
Indeed, smile that is genuine and automatic. It takes years or more to practice that. You
Especially
help
if you're an
entrepreneurs.
introvert. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, you help entrepreneurs achieve marketing goals with intention. But what
Mhm.
happens when the intention's there yet capacity is not? Can good intentions market a business when solopreneur is running on empty?
Mm. I think that's when it's really good to consider getting some sort of support, and that could be in the form of like a VA or even just doing like a co-working call or a group working call where there's other humans around you. If that recharges you, um, that's one of the things about what I do that I love so much is creating opportunities for those solopreneurs to get with others and just recharge their energy, get that motivation back, find maybe a mastermind or something along those lines that really helps you like recenter your intentions, right? And I think it goes back to just understanding yourself and your energy levels as well and protecting that order. I say that, and I'll just be very transparent. I'm really bad about it. If you looked at my calendar, you would know everything's overlapping and I am not protecting my boundaries at all.
Mhm.
But I do think when I do a good job of protecting my boundaries, then living up to my intentions, whether it's in marketing or in any other area of my life, it it's a lot easier to live up to those intentions and not feel like I've let somebody or someone like something down.
Well said. Well said, Miss Samantha. You explored the self awareness required to stay true to oneself. In a world where algorithms reward consistency, how do you practice self awareness without constantly measuring yourself against metrics that have nothing to do with your worth?
Oh gosh. I don't think I do. Just to be
Why
very
not?
true, like,
Mhm,
I think sometimes we have to self-check ourselves and we're good about it, and other times we find ourselves spiraling and really hitting I don't know if rock bottom's the right word, but sometimes it just takes us, like, hitting a wall, whether that be
mhm,
creatively or with client work or dropping a ball, and then just the guilt and the frustration that comes with that to go, "What am I what am I not protecting? What boundary have I not set that's putting me in this place?" Right? And being able to ask ourselves those questions. What do I need right now? Do I need to be a part of a community? Do I need to go talk to somebody? Do I need to be 100% alone? I am a big believer in bathtub breaks at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. If I need a bubble bath, I'm going to go take one because I need to just have that moment, right? But sometimes it really takes hitting a wall for me because as a solopreneur, we're like, go, 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 right? Um,
mhm.
yeah. I just truthfully, I don't think I guard that very
I need a bubble bath right now.
right now.
Oh,
Oh,
right
sounds
now.
good, doesn't it? A little Epsom salt. It sounds wonderful.
Yes. That'd be awesome, relaxing. So, Miss Samantha, let's talk about on the business model reality. Many
Yeah.
solopreneurs live in what expert called the overlap that hurts, needing a new client to survive while already working at or beyond capacity. How do you market for growth when growth itself feels like a threat to your survival?
Oh gosh. Wow. So the way I've done it for myself is setting up a plan. When I hit a certain client load or a certain number of members in my community, then I know I have to bring on help because I'm not going to be able to give as much as I want to give to my clients and to my membership community um, past that level of workload, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've set a plan for that in motion so that I know as I'm marketing when I hit a certain level, what happens when you have to bring on help is it takes away from your profits. And if you're at a place yet where taking away from your profits hurts you on a personal finance level, it's a really scary thing. But I find it's like that's that next step, right? In order to do that. And I actually started my business very much. I'm out of the hotel business. I'm not managing people. I'm not herding cats. They're not my monkeys. It's not my circus. I don't want to hire anyone. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually in that place now where I'm like, okay, my business is not gonna grow to the level that I want. And I am not gonna be able to support my community that I'm building if I don't look at what that plan looks like. So I really think hence the name Plandippity Doers. I believe in planning, Daniel. That's what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you really need to look at, and from a financial standpoint, from a energy standpoint, yeah, from a capacity and a bandwidth standpoint, you need to have a plan for that.
Planning indeed. Yes, certainly. Marketing amplifies demand, but it doesn't create from scratch. How do you know when your marketing is not working versus when your offer itself misaligned? And how much mental energy got spent second guessing that distinction?
Oh, wow. That is the question, isn't it? It really is. Um, so you have to start with what your marketing is intended to do, right? Um,
Yes.
a lot of times people think marketing is sales, but it's not. So marketing is not the sales process. Marketing gets your people into the funnel, for lack of a better term, of your sales process. And marketing can do a lot of different tasks for you to get people into that social media or look what's on my brain, sorry, to get them into that sales funnel, right? And
Hmm.
social media is really good at building relationships and doing a lot of that connection, the know, like, trust, the brand awareness, right? Piece of it. And then there's the networking where it's face to face, and this is what I do, and this is how I can help. And those are both long-term game type marketing platforms, so to speak. But both of them could have different goals, different intentions. And so when you understand what your marketing tasks, where your marketing buckets are meant to do, it's a lot easier to determine if they're actually working or not. So if you just start posting on social media because everyone says you need to be on Instagram, you need to be on TikTok, you should be putting stuff on YouTube, and you're like, okay. And you put all of this energy into it, but you don't see sales, it feels like it's not working. Well, that oftentimes means a couple things. One, you don't know what it's supposed to be doing for you. So you're not creating the content that would do that final goal for you, right? Or you don't have the funnel created yet. Once you put a post out, if you're not telling them what the next step is, how to engage with you, how to connect, how to get on your email list, do you have an email list? Like, what's that funnel? So there's a couple places that can be broken. You don't have goals around your marketing tasks, specifically each one. Like, what does posting on Instagram do for me, if anything? Is my audience even there? Like, asking yourself those questions are really important. And once I get an audience on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, where do I want them to end up in order for me to turn that into a lead to generate the sale? If you don't understand that process, that client journey for the people you're trying to attract with your marketing, then you'll never know if it's working. And if you don't know if it's working, it just feels like it's not working. And then you don't see the point. And then it becomes this really vicious cycle where you're listening to the next person who says you should be doing this. And so you move on to the next thing, but the process recycles itself because you haven't set a goal, you haven't set a process, you haven't planned it out all the way through. And so you don't know the journey that you're sending them on. And that's typically what I see happen with solopreneurs who are just like basically throwing spaghetti at a wall for, that's something my grandmother used to say, right? You're just throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping it sticks. And you don't really know why you're doing it other than maybe to have fun. But you know what I mean? It's just like you're just throwing spaghetti at a wall and expecting something to happen. And it's not going to without understanding that process.
Indeed, beautifully articulated, Miss Samantha. As a founder of Plan DPT Doers, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Oh, I love it. Well, short term, I'm working on building a community locally and slowly zimbering out. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and so the group is really growing here. Long term, I anticipate having events in person and virtually all over the country, maybe all over the world, with hundreds of members that are supporting each other, lifting each other up, helping each other grow. It's all about empowerment and support. The vision for the Plan Dippity Doers actually came from kind of a moment of aha for me. I lost my mom when I was very young. She was 39 when she passed. And um, she had this vision to create an art collective for artists because she liked to do all sorts of types of art, but the only way to sell it was to go to art fairs and go do this and go do that. And now there's a lot of different ways to get your art in front of people, right? But social media didn't really exist back then. And there wasn't these buildings with all of these different art people that could rent space. And that's what she wanted to create, this collective where she could support other artists and give them tools and resources and just help them grow and be a part of that. And I was getting started in I had been moving my brand photography business and adding social media support and realized, "Oh my gosh, this is how I can, like, extend my mom's legacy and in my own way." And so I created the Plan Dippity Doers to give women resources, help them grow their businesses, be a support and a place of comfort for them to come. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And so it's become my mission and my mom's legacy to really grow this forward. I want to see annual celebrations and I want to see just like women entrepreneurs just like blooming from the support of it all. That's long term.
Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success, Miss Samantha.
Oh,
And can
thank
you
you.
please, yes, and can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh my gosh. So, when I was in the process of like deciding to add this group, I was reading You're a Badass at Making Money. Have you read this?
Not yet. If you
No, you
recommend,
definitely
I
would read.
will.
You have to read it. I've read it so many times. It actually lives in my gym bag now, and I will read it while I'm in the sauna. I'll just open up to a random page and read it. It is money mindset. It is like manifestation meets practicality, which I love. I just found it really inspiring, and I think I read it at the right time in my life to for it to make a real impact. And I really, yeah, love that book. Jen Serrano, I might be saying her name wrong. Serrano, Jen Serrano. Yeah, You're a Badass at Making Money. That's the book.
Thank you for that recommended books, Miss Samantha. And to wrap up our discussion for today, at the end of a long week of marketing, serving, invoicing, and holding it all together, what questions should solopreneur ask themselves that has nothing to do with the metrics, growth, and visibility, and everything to do with whether life they're building is actually worth living?
I love this. I love this so much. Um, Gosh, I think for me, the question that I would be asking myself at the end of the week is who did I show up and serve? Whose day, life, week was a little bit better because of something that I was able to put out for them?
Well, indeed, Miss Samantha, thank you so much for empowering us. Thank you so much for those knowledge and wisdom. And I'm inviting you again to be part of my Entrepreneurship 101. And let's talk about entrepreneurship mindset. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business or wherever you want to promote on Book 101 Review?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put this everywhere. I appreciate you guys so much. If you want to follow along, you can follow me on More Than Serendipity on almost all of the platforms. I'm most active on Instagram. And if you're interested and this conversation resonated with you and you want to learn more about the Plandipity Doers, that's morethanserendipity.com.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Samantha Markey because if you support her, for sure, more and more marketing will rise. So, Miss Samantha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I have really had fun.
Likewise, Martica people, see you soon.